next question is from one of your devotees, and he asks that how can one pursue spirituality along with life as an individual bound to worldly affairs? And he also mentions Kundalini awakening. So if you could tell us a bit about what is this particular term and how can one achieve spirituality with being bound to the worldly affairs?
That is a very, very relevant question because not everybody is going to take sannyas. This path of sannyas is for a few, and for the majority, they have to add spirituality to their regular lives.
Right.
And that is exactly what the Bhagavad Gita teaches us. See, people have this misconception that either I am materialistic or I leave the world to become spiritual. However, the Bhagavad Gita tells us wherever you are, add spirituality to your life. So before listening to the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was doing his duty as a warrior. After listening to this wisdom, he was still doing his duty as a warrior.
Right.
What changed was his consciousness. Similarly, if you lead a career in engineering or management or civil services, spirituality helps you look at the world differently. It's not for my enjoyment. I have a higher purpose. The works I do are not for self-seeking, but they are acts of service consecrated to the Supreme. Spirituality gives us the tools to manage our mind, to tweak our values and beliefs, to empower ourselves to bring out the best in us. And there are going to be difficult times because problems are very natural in this world. Now, some people, when the going is all right, everything is smooth sailing. But the moment a problem comes, they get shattered. And spirituality is the best way to add resilience to our lives. It is the best way to overcome stress. Now, let me share with you a little humorous episode. This was probably the year about 2009 or 10. I was in Chicago, and the IIT Alumni Association of Midwest, which is based in Chicago, they reached out to me. So they said, Swamiji, you are also an alumnus. Please come and address our monthly meeting. So I said, sure, it will be my pleasure. That they put forth the topic of stress management. A very, very practical topic for all executives. Stress is called the executive's disease.
Right.
So that is when I researched stress management and all the tools that were being offered on google.com, etc. And I discovered that the best tool for stress management was offered 5,000 years ago by Lord Krishna, when he said, Yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva shuddhe, or a simpler verse which everybody has heard, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. He says, focus on your efforts, put in your best, but don't be attached to results. So what stresses people out is that attachment to results. If they can just learn to focus on their efforts, they will excel as students, as executives, as engineers, with all freedom from tension and anxiety. So this is just a few of the ways in which spirituality enriches. And the second part of his question about Kundalini Yoga. So Tushar, our ancient Indian culture is known the world over as a spiritual culture. And India is revered as Jagat Guru of the world. Whenever anybody wants spirituality, you think of India. So we have a variety of pathways to evolve ourselves. There's Karma Yoga, there's Jnana Yoga, there's Bhakti Yoga, there's Ashtanga Yoga, Kundalini Yoga. The principle behind Kundalini Yoga is that you have a subtle power that is in your spine that can be awakened and slowly lifted up for spiritual realization. So there are spiritual practices for it. However, this process of Kundalini Yoga is a dangerous one because it's an immense power. And unless it is done under the guidance of a trained teacher, there's chance that the body can get affected, and even worse, the mind can get affected. So it is not necessary to go via that pathway. There is Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, which are far simpler and far more powerful in lifting our consciousness.